journalism revolution,
public reaction,
and social reform. Nellie Bly, Nellie Bly. Okay, I've done enough research on Women's Night reporters. My editor's going to kill me if I don't meet this deadline. Now let's see. Where should I start? Nellie Bly walked confidently into the editor's office, looking straight in the eye and said,
first of all, I would like to say that I am not here asking for a job reporting on social and fashion. Every editor that I've spoke to tells me women reporters only do social and fashion. I don't want to be on page 9. I want to be on the front page. I'm tough as any male reporter. I just had to leave Mexico because they wanted to lock me up for reporting on the scandals of their government and criticizing their president. When I worked for the paper in Pittsburgh, they asked me to stop writing about the factory conditions of women workers in the editorial column because they said it was hurting advertisement. I'm willing to get the tough stories, the stories about social injustices that will generate a reaction. My beauty, brains, and bylines will sell the papers.
let's see. The year was 1887, and a little-known reporter from Pittsburgh with the pen name of Nellie Bly just asked the managing editor of Joseph Pulitzer's New York World for a job. She was laughed out of every newspaper when she asked for a job. Nellie was a gifted speaker, storyteller, and writer. Nellie showed up at the right time. The New York World suspected abuse was happening at the Blackwell Island Insane Asylum. However, their male reporters could not get past the reception area. The editor was intrigued by the idea of undercover reporting, something never tried at his paper. He told Nellie to get committed and report on her first-hand experiences there. If she wanted a job, this was the only way she was going to get it. He promised that if she got committed, that he would get her out within 10 days. Nellie headed to a women's residential home.
I'm telling you, my name is Nellie Brown from Cuba, and I don't have family! Where are my bloomers? Some woman in this house has my bloomers, and I want them back! What do you not understand? I want my bloomers! Do you have my bloomers? No, I have not taken any drugs. Have you taken any drugs? I'm looking for my bloomers. What's wrong with you? What do you mean? I need to go see that nice judge. I don't want to see the judge. I want to find my bloomers. How hard is that to get? Wah! Why did I scream, Your Honor? I didn't. I thought you did. Just trying to find my bloomers. Do I belong to anybody, Your Honor? No. Just trying to find my bloomers.
Nellie was successful at getting committed into Blackwell's Island, and true to his word, the editor retrieved her within 10 days. She wrote a scathing account of her time in the madhouse, and her story appeared on the front page of papers all across the world. The district attorney was swamped with letters demanding an investigation. Nellie was summoned to appear in front of the grand jury.
I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Upon being committed to the asylum, I experienced its conditions firsthand. The food was nothing more than grilled broth, dried beef, bread that was a little more than dried dough, and undrinkable water. Dangerous patients were tied down with ropes, and also patients were forced to sit on hard benches with scant protection from the cold. Waste was all over the eating area, and rats crawled all over the hospital. Nurses were obnoxious and abusive, yelling at us to shut up and then beating us if we did not. While I was at the asylum, when I was speaking to some of the women, I realized that most of the women were as sane as I was. Their husbands had committed them instead of divorcing them. And some women were even committed because they couldn't speak English and they couldn't answer the questions. I realized that the asylum was very easy to get into, but impossible for most women to get out of.
Wow, are all of you here interviewing for the reporter position? So am I. Actually, this is my 4th interview today. Newspapers all over the country are looking to hire women stunt reporters. Nellie Bly has started a journalism revolution. Women are moving from the social page to the front page. 2 editors have already told me that women are better at reporting social injustices than men, and that our sympathy stories are really selling the papers. Word is, women are just better at reporting at going undercover than men. Jobs are becoming available to women that have never been available before. And all of this is happening in a time when we can't vote and are expected to stay at home and clean. I hear Mr. Pulitzer is looking to hire more stunt reporters to keep Ms. Bly on her toes. He thinks the competition will create better stories. Speaking of, have you read Ms. Bly's latest? That girl got herself arrested by stealing her friend's purse so that she could report on the abuse of female prisoners. I can't believe people haven't recognized her by now. I mean, she's gone undercover in adoption agencies, factories, and prisons, and yet no one seems to recognize her. That's the kind of reporter I want to be. People always react to her stories. I hear she gets over 100 letters a day.
Nellie Bly had indeed started a journalism revolution. Every newspaper wanted multiple women stunt reporters, and newspaper sales have reached an all-time high. The public could not get enough of her reports, and their stories contributed to a social reform period known as the Progressive Era for the United States.
Excuse me, Miss Black. I don't mean to interrupt, but I saw you waiting for your train and wanted to introduce myself. I'm Miss Black.
Yes, I know who you are. You're the reporter that... Yep, that's you. Reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle. You passed out on the busiest street in San Francisco to draw attention to medical emergencies. Your article sparked outrage, and it started the first medical emergency system that served as a model for all other major cities.
Thanks, but you're the original stunt reporter.
That is crazy, and still looking for her bloomers. Do you have my bloomers?
No, I don't. But you inspired me to be a reporter. You've helped so many people with your articles. It's hard to imagine that due to your investigative journalism, it led state authorities to appropriate $1 million to upgrade Black Hills Island. You got doctors and nurses fired, and other states looked at their asylums and made changes in reform because of your articles.
It was more than I imagined.
Not to mention, you led to changes in reform in adoption laws, improved working conditions for women and children in some factories, and opened the door for women journalists. However, now I'm getting mail from women suffragists saying I'm not being responsible. They want me to use my work to promote their agenda.
That's the other side of the story. We're criticized for doing a dangerous job for less pay than a man and not promoting women's rights. We get it from both sides. Our job is to target social injustices, go undercover, and report the stories in a sympathetic light. We don't make recommendations or choose sides. We just tell the stories. And hopefully our stories will generate a reaction, and that reaction will lead to reform. And one day, we will tell the suffragette story too.
And they did. When the suffragists were force-fed in jail, they were there to describe the process in great detail to create a sympathetic reaction and help free them. During the Progressive Era, women stunt reporters wrote more than ever before, and their stories held greater power and significance. They gained a voice as contributors to the public sphere and were becoming participants in rhetorical activities rather than just witnesses to them. Their stories raised a heightened awareness of societal problems, and this awareness in turn led to the way of many real cases of social reform in the lives of women and children, the criminally insane, the juvenile justice code, minimum wage and maximum hours, mothers' pensions, government corruption, and adoption laws. Women stunt reporters formed a human chute down which future generations of female reporters will plunge into journalism's mainstream. There will be issues and discrimination for years to come, but at least the way has been opened. Thank you.